Aging like a fine bottle of heartache, wouldn't you say? From March 1995, take that and back for good. And before the lads from Manchester, you had young Sean keeping the groove alive, and he's promised, come rain, shine or meteor shower, that the old school show will be back next Sunday at approximately, what a big word for this time of the morning, approximately 8 p.m. So remember to mark that down in your diary. But right now, my friends, it's just you, me, and the way too early night cruise here on Freedom FM. My name is Feargal, and I'm delighted that you've joined me this morning. So whether you're working the night shift, unwinding, or just laying in bed, I think I've put together a collection of music and topics that might just lift your night to another level. You see, as well as the best romance, relaxing and chill-out tracks from the 90s and the noughties that you'd associate with this time of the morning, we will, in this hour, be keeping the weekend spirit alive just a little bit longer with our I Know What You Got Up To This Weekend bit. Then, just after 1, we're going to twist time and melody together with the Love Slowed Down game. And I will explain more about both of those bits in a few minutes' time. And of course, if you want to reach out, we are here for you this morning. You can WhatsApp or text 086 206 8888. That's 086 206 8888. You can send an email to hello@freedomfm.ie. Or if you are more into your socials, then it's Voice Actor Fergs, all one word, on Threads, Insta, Blue Sky, and Says. Right, let's not let this night pass. Let's shape it into something unforgettable, shall we? And we're going to do that together in 3, 2, 1. Mint Royale with dancehall places their one and only foray into the chill-out zone. A brilliant October 2002 vibe, wouldn't you say? Now, my friends, before we go any further, can we talk about you for a moment? Because it is that time of the morning where we crack open the curtain and sneak a peek into what went down over your weekend. And we gave this bit of the genius title, I Know What You Did Last Weekend. It's where your life in all its messy, marvellous or mundane glory becomes the star of the night cruise. So tell us, did you finally conquer that towering laundry pile? Did you go to a wedding or a concert? Or maybe you spent the weekend sinking into the sofa for a well-earned break. Whatever it was, we'd love to hear about it. Because, you know, we here on the night cruise are at heart just a big bunch of own nosy parkers. And to break the ice, I'll go first, shall I? You see, this past weekend, I hit peak Kermit. The weather was warm, the garden was calling, and what did I do? I glued myself to the TV, of course. Friday night, Glastonbury on the BBC. Saturday morning, a bit of Lions rugby on pay TV, boo. And then it happened. I tumbled into a full-on festival binge. Saturday afternoon and evening, Sunday afternoon and evening, same position, same snacks, same screen. It was the Glastonbury Festival spiritual experience, all without the portaloos, of course. And you know, every time I think, should I go to Glasgow someday? My sofa whispers. But here, the food's cheaper and the loos, they're clean. And honestly, that voice wins out every time. But enough about my lazy luxury. We want to hear all about your weekend, no matter if it was wonderful or woeful, funny or frenetic, huge or humble. We are all ears. So go on, get in touch and tell us what your last 72 hours looked like. Send a WhatsApp into the studio on 086 206 8888. That's 086 206 8888. Because if you've got a story itching to be told, here's the deal. Send it in and I'll do my best to read it out. Go on, you know you want to. I haven't. It's the night cruise on Freedom FM, where we have this book in the studio, which the boss likes to call the big, beautiful book. And you know, I think management around here just might be into Trump. You never know. Anyway, in this book, there is lots of information about things that happened in the 90s and, of course, the noughties. And while James Blunt was singing Carry You Home, I was looking back at August 2004. No real news in Ireland except a rumour about a possible Boyzone reunion, which came to nothing. Across the water in the UK, the news also took a nap. So we did what any bored nation would do. We hit the cinema. And that's when Will Smith showed us just exactly what the 2025 Tech Bros AI would look like when it stopped being polite and started asking questions in iRobot. Then came The Bourne Supremacy, which pretty much drop-kicked the Bond franchise into reboot mode. Suddenly, smirking Suave was out and Brooding was in. And if that wasn't enough screen time glory, we rounded the month off dodging spanners, reason and rules with Dodgeball, the movie which, let's be honest, is where Patches O'Houlihan taught us more about life than any self-help book ever could. And while all that was going down, Keane were quietly slipping up the charts with Bed-Shaped, gliding into that sweet spot at number 10. It's Sade on Freedom FM's Night Cruise, and you will remember that earlier on I asked you to spill the beans on what you got up to over the weekend for our I Know What You Did Last Weekend segment, and I'm happy to report that you didn't disappoint. Your stories, they're coming through thick and fast. So let's kick things off with a lovely note from Tina York from Finglas, who says, Fergs, my partner Adriana Hayes and I had an absolute blast at the Dublin Pride Parade on Saturday. The colours, the music, the sheer joy, it was electric. We cheered our way through the parade, then wandered into an afternoon of laughter and a night that just kept on giving. Honestly, it felt like one of those perfect summer Saturdays you wish you could bottle up forever. Tina, that sounds absolutely brilliant. And you know what? My daughter was at the parade too. She waltzed in Sunday morning grinning like she just won the Eurovision and had the glitter in her hair to prove it. And you know, it's always a good party when the smiles last till sunrise. Thank you for reaching out. Now, next up, let's give a big morning shout out to Tony Doyle down in Cork. He says, Feargal, my wife Joan and I just rolled back in from the marquee and we're still smiling like we swallowed coat hangers after seeing Dara O'Briain live. I tell you, Tony, that is a comedy hangover worth having. Sounds like Dara had both of you doubled over with the best kind of laughter, you know, the kind that lingers all the way home. Thank you for reaching out. So, my friends, that was Tina's parade and Tony's punchline. But what about your weekend? What moved you, made you laugh, slowed you down, or spun you round? You know, we want to know. And the good news is there's still one more round of Why Know What You Did Last Weekend to come. So if you've got a story, big or small, weird or wonderful, send it our way on WhatsApp to 086 206 8888. That's 086 206 8888. You whisper it and I'll shout it out for you. Reliving the 90s and the noughties on DAB Plus across Leinster, around the country and world on freedomfm.ie. This is The Night Cruise. Now, if you've been keeping me company this hour, you know that we've been digging into your weekend diaries for our I Know What You Did Last Weekend bit. And I have to say that your stories, they've been solid gold this morning. So let's squeeze in two more before we press play on the next chapter. And first up in our final round, let's hear from Colin Thompson over in Galway. Fergsy says, I didn't go wild this weekend, but Friday night was a winner. Headed over to Eamon DC Park to catch Galway go head-to-head with Shelburne. Great game, great crowd, and even better crack afterwards. Definitely one of those nights you don't plan, but end up loving. Colin, sounds like he found that sweet spot where football meets Friday night freedom. Galway versus Shells and a post-game buzz. I know the feeling. One moment you're in the stands, next you're halfway through a plate of curry chips telling someone you just met that Galway could take the league. Absolutely legendary, and thank you for reaching out. And finally for this morning, let's head over to Lucy O'Brien, who's in Dublin. Fergal, she says, any chance you could spin a little Alanis Morissette? My husband Noel and I just got back from seeing her live at Malahide Castle. Unreal gig, and let me tell you, that voice hasn't aged a day. Lucy, sounds absolutely electric. Malahide Castle, Under the Stars with Alanis. You know, I heard her a while back, and she still belts out those lyrics like she's reading your soul's diary, doesn't she? Anyway, let's see if we can't crank up some Alanis and keep your post-gig glow alive. And thanks again for reaching out. Now, if you messaged in and didn't hear your name this morning, don't worry. I read all your messages and we in the studio love every single slice of your weekend lives. And remember, we'll do it all again next week just after midnight. So get your stories ready for then. Now, don't move a muscle because the next hour brings the mystery and mischief of our love slowed down game. So stay right there. Let's keep the mood mellow and the memories coming, shall we?